So this is a snapshot video, obviously, right? Well, this is how you delete it. There are 7.3 billion people on Earth, right? 3.17 billion people have access to the internet, and 2.3 billion people are active users on social media. And 1.6, I mean, you guys spend about an hour and 16 minutes every single day watching some sort of video on YouTube or Facebook and Instagram. But it's a waste of time, guys. It's so unproductive, and I was life-changing for me to stop using it, because I would just go out there and I'd look up at friends and I'd be like, oh, he's doing this really cool thing. But it's all fake, all of it. We all take these filtered pictures, these filtered videos. You guys have used these dog faces. and you know what? Half the girls that use them look so much more attractive. I don't know if it's just me, but we can do so much more than just being, it's not just unproductive time, it's that you live in this box. And when you live in this box, it's a complete, you think like everyone else. You know, if you use Twitter, you're 33% more likely to be a Democrat. Don't tell that to Donald Trump, because I mean he's starting to like, what is he doing? He's starting to block people on his Twitter recently, which I'm pretty sure he's a good president or future president, right? But it's this opportunity that we have to grow so much more beyond, and it's like it's a branding thing too. You know, when you go out there, you know, how many people do you see out there that are using it to brand their market or market their product? They market it so much that they make $16 billion a year from people like you that are spending money on or watching their products. Because I mean, like Imani was telling me, she has this she follows people, right, on Instagram, and they sell these Botox teas, right? And they're making like what, 1.3 million a year. But I mean, like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not like, there's only so many people like that. And I mean, we can't do this anymore. I mean, I went to Starbucks the other day, and everyone there is on their phone. It's like, how do you get a normal cup of coffee these days, right? Like, yeah, there's this line, right? And it's like, what are you doing, guys? Like, do you guys know what you're getting? I mean, we live in this world, man. It's just changing. And my sister the other day, she was telling me about how she's meeting guys recently. She gets DM'd these days, I guess. They like all her pictures, and then 2 minutes later she's DM'd, and she's met like 6 of these guys. They take her to Froyo or Starbucks, and then she says it never works out. And I'm like, well, no shit. And then she tells me about these guys she meets on Tinder, and it's like, how many times do you guys think these guys are gonna work out? And that's one of the reasons why I deleted social media, because I think it's a waste of time. It's you know, we use it for fun. You know, my mom, I'll give you a great example. My mom, you know, for her it's beneficial. You know, I know probably guys like Richard and Sal. You know, Sal went to the military, and Richard's obviously a professor, so they have a large group of friends that are all over the place. And my mom, you know, like when she first moved to the United States, she left her entire family, and so when she got here and she married my dad, she found out that long distance calling doesn't mean, like, if you use long distance calling, it doesn't mean that you can talk internationally. And we had a $900 bill in the early 2000s because she kept calling out of the country. And my dad had to discontinue long distance calling because of her. And now she's able to use social media now to talk to her friends and her family, which is really good, because before she'd be spending $5 on a 1-hour time card. And and she's one of those people that spends, I don't know if you guys know this, but 60 billion messages are sent on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. That's 60 billion messages, and yeah, every day. And that's just it's mind-boggling to see these numbers just keep going up. And I think together we can create a new world that doesn't use statuses like Facebook followers or Snapchat. Like, that does not mean anything, guys. It doesn't mean crap. You know what? The most important thing is the type of person you are inside. Stop taking those pictures because it's a waste of time, complete waste of time. Start living in the moment. Start living in every single second of your life. And I'm not talking about productiveness because I'm not your parents. My parents used to tell me all the time, yeah, put down your phone or something like that. We're at the kitchen table, and me and my buddies, we'd actually started a game where we'd leave our phone on the table, and whoever picked up their phone while we're eating dinner had to pick up the bill. We had a couple of friends that one time they had to pick up like a $200 bill. Yeah, so it's, you know what, it's time for a change. Stop having superficial friends and stop living an artificial life. And thank you. I know, it's like...
You went 6:30, or 6:11.
I'm just trying something different here.
All right. Cassandra, what did you think?
Confident and we put a lot of humor into it, so it made it really interesting. It wanted me to talk more. We didn't have a preview, so I don't know where we were going. But you were really into one of your songs. Just the stuff you threw out, you got really excited, so credibility.
It was all when you come.
But I thought you were really good talking.
All right. All right, well, we get less of a speech than we get a rant. And rants can be fun because you kind of get emotionally involved in them and they give you a chance to take off on things that are popping into your head as you're speaking. So that's not really what we're looking for, but for what you did, I think it was presented pretty effectively, and you get some emotional engagement with the audience a little bit. I think and the examples are okay. You're dependent on examples. There are a whole bunch of hypotheticals. You have a couple of practical examples also. I think if this was structured a little bit more, there's some things that you could put in here that would really make it work. For example, at the end when you talked about some ways to break people of their habits of using their phones, I love that idea that the first person who picks up their phone has to pick up the bill at the restaurant. I think that that's a very inventive way to disincentivize people using their phones when they're engaged in a social activity with other human beings that are actually present with them, as opposed to somebody who is on the other side of the world. On the other hand, of course, you also have that illustration of your mother and the long distance relationships, and there is a function that these things kind of perform. I think that's one of the problems here, because you're going off on the rant and you're saying it's completely useless, it's unproductive, blah, blah, blah. You're ignoring all the things where there is productivity, where there are advantages, and everybody's going to be sitting out here, and because we just had this whole nasty unpleasantness going on, that there are people who find a lot of the things that they're doing more productive than listening to you. Whether or not that's fair or not, they may see it that way. And I'm sure that a lot of them accomplish things Amani had that thing earlier that she was talking about earlier in the semester. People are, multitasking or being productive or whatever, that kind of stuff. People use it and you could point right here, and say, look, Richard's posting our videos on social media for us to be able to go back and review, to learn something from. So the idea that it's completely unproductive, a waste of time, isn't going to sell to everybody. So you got to have a little bit more moderated view, and that's the problem with a rant, because you don't moderate during a rant, you go off, and that's kind of where you're headed here. All right, you gave me the wrong form. I I know I had a form, I just started writing, and then halfway through I realized this is not the form that I need. So I've just scribbled some numbers on the back trying to copy off from somebody else. So hopefully you'll be able to make sense of your score at the end.